Have you ever tried to picture what it would be like to actually step into the same room as the creator of the universe? It's the kind of thought that gives you goosebumps. Isaiah experienced this firsthand. Thousands of years ago, he was given a miraculous peek right into heaven. He saw God sitting on a massive, wondrous throne, as the entire room filled with thick, swirling smoke. Above the throne were angels called seraphim. Each one had 6 wings, and as they flew around the room, they called out to each other, singing that the Lord Almighty is completely, perfectly holy. Seeing this was actually a terrifying experience for Isaiah. Standing in front of absolute perfection made him suddenly realize all of his own flaws and every mistake he had ever made. But then an angel flew over to him holding a glowing red-hot coal from the heavenly altar. The angel gently touched his lips with it and told Isaiah that his guilt was gone. His mistakes were wiped completely away. Right after that, a booming voice echoed through the room. God asked, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Isaiah, no longer paralyzed by his own flaws, immediately answered, "Here am I, send me." We often assume that getting close to someone totally perfect would make us want to hide in shame. But because God steps in and forgives us, we can stand up straight and bravely volunteer to be part of his plan. Isaiah's very first mission brought him straight from the peace of heaven back to the messy reality of earth, where he had to deliver a message to a human ruler named King Ahaz. King Ahaz was in serious trouble. 2 massive enemy armies had formed an alliance, and they were marching on a direct path straight toward his city to tear it apart. When Ahaz and his people heard this news, they were absolutely paralyzed with panic. The ancient record describes their hearts shaking, the same way trees in a forest shake during a violent storm. We have all felt that kind of anxiety. It's that awful, sinking feeling where outside pressures are blowing like a harsh, howling wind, and you feel completely vulnerable and out of control. But the message God sent through Isaiah was totally unexpected. He told the terrified king to be careful, keep calm, and whatever happens, do not be afraid. How could he not be afraid? Because God looked at those 2 intimidating enemy armies and saw them as nothing more than 2 smoldering stubs of firewood, weak, small, and about to burn out. When we only look through our own eyes, our problems look huge and unstoppable. But from God's perspective, the threats that terrify us the most are actually incredibly small and strictly temporary. To prove that Ahaz didn't have to rely on his own military strength to survive, God offered to give the king a special sign. Ahaz was too stubborn to ask for one, so God gave him a sign anyway. The promise, a young woman would soon give birth to a very special baby boy, and this baby was going to be given a highly specific, very important name, Emmanuel. As those letters shift, they reveal a promise that changes how we see the world. God is with us. We often try to find safety by building up our own defenses or trying to be the strongest person in the room. But real peace comes from the absolute certainty of God's presence right beside us. Now, trusting God doesn't mean you will never face another problem. In fact, Isaiah warned the people that other, much scarier armies were going to invade in the future. He described these coming hardships like a massive, terrifying river that was going to violently overflow its banks and aggressively sweep across the entire land. But even with that flood coming, Isaiah told the people how to handle it. He said, "Do not panic and do not buy into conspiracy theories just because everyone else around you is giving in to dread. Instead, treat the Lord as your sanctuary. When the waters of life start rising up to your neck, God is a safe, solid rock that you can stand on while everything else washes away." This is where that name Emmanuel becomes our lifeline. If the solid rock we are standing on is God with us, then His stability becomes our stability. We stay dry because He is right there in the middle of the river with us. So the next time your heart is racing and you feel like a fragile tree shaking in the wind, take a deep breath. The perfectly holy God who forgives all your mistakes is also Emmanuel. You never have to be afraid alone.